What is up, NFC East fans? We are back again with Clashing Conferences podcast. If you are new to the show, we're a weekly show here. First half, we look back at the week that just happened. The second half, we'll look ahead to the week to come. If you're a regular listener, you already know, going to be a lot of trash talk, some good entertainment, some great picks and analysis. Please like and subscribe if you're enjoying so far through 5 or 6 episodes here. But looking back at the prior week, let's get some rundown of what happened here. We had 2 wins, one by Dallas over the Chargers, and a second win by the Redskins or the Commanders over the Falcons. No wins for the Giants or the Eagles, but we did get a cover by the Giants, a pretty darn good cover against those tough Bills. In our internal competition, we had 3 categories again last week. The points allowed category was won by the Giants and Topher Pete Peterson. Reception touchdowns was a win for Paul Douglas and the Washington Commanders. And receiving yards, the highest player with receiving yards this week was A.J. Brown for Gregg and the Eagles. So on the season, we have Randy at 9 points, but everybody moving up a slot against him this week. Gregg's up to 6. Topher Pete, you're up to 4. Paul Douglas getting his second point of the year. So that's where we stand on the internal competition. Let's lead off this week. I think we had Paul on punishment last week, so why don't we let him go first this week? He had some weak picks on his picks last week, but I gotta say that his analysis on his Redskins game couldn't have been more on point than it was. He said, and I quote, as usual, Desmond Ridder would dress up for Halloween as Dak Prescott and throw 3 picks. So he threw 3 picks. He looked just like Dak out there. Paul, tell us about your big win this week and any trash talk you want to talk against these other 3 guys.
Yeah, I was pretty happy with the week. At the end, it got a little dicey, but for at least the first 3 quarters, we're looking pretty dominant for the most part. Towards the end, Sam Howell started to stand in there again, like a rookie, take a couple of sacks, I think 3 in like 4 plays, like towards the end. But we still pulled it out, moved the ball pretty well, I thought. I didn't really think the Falcons were all that great, but they're really not that bad of a team. But they put a whole lot of stock in their run game. There's not much of a receiving core out there. Although, of course, I've this is the only year I haven't had Kyle Pitts on a fantasy team, and I've been trashing him. Like literally, like I think I said last week that it's very possible that Kyle Pitts is maybe the problem with Kyle Pitts. Yep. And of course, he heard me and blew up and turned into a football player. So I don't know. Good for him, I guess. I mean, he might even be a waiver wire pickup because I think that he's probably, not even on most rosters at this point because of his performance. But no, he showed up. I had Drake London in one of my fantasy leagues, so that was nice to see. But overall, it was a good game. To be honest, similar to that crappy game last night, we had hands on Desmond Ridder a couple of times, and Jen just let him go for whatever. It was catch and release. I don't know what restricted pond we were fishing in, but it was catch and release. It was ridiculous, especially towards the end. I can't remember who had said it. I think it was Troy Aikman over the weekend. I think he's the one that said, I can't remember who it was. Maybe it was Tony Romo said it was like a slippery salmon. It was probably like the worst
Sanchez.
take. Oh yeah. Oh, of course. Sorry. I can't believe I got him mixed up with the Sanchez.
Slippery salmon with Vaseline.
Yeah, that was the worst take I've ever heard in my life. And somehow some group is going to be offended by it. I don't know how or why, but they're going to put it together, and that somehow was offensive. And I'm with them because I was pretty offended by it. That was ridiculous. But that's what Desmond Ridder looked like when he was out there quite a few times. So, I used to tell my kids when they were playing flag football, don't run for where the guy is, run for where he's going to be when you get to him. It didn't take a whole lot of jukes, but we still pulled it out. Really happy with the win. nice tune-up to the bye week we're going to have this week. When I say bye week, I guess it's just like the easy win or whatever you call it, but we'll get to that later.
Mhm.
I was absolutely unimpressed with the Cowboys last night. There was not a slipperier salmon on earth than Dak Prescott. I mean, people were all over him, and he just slipped through there. That sly bastard. We already talked about it. There were some really bad coaching decisions on the Chargers, and I really think that was the turning point in the game. Otherwise, we're looking at an even record between the Redskins and the Cowboys, if that had gone the way it was supposed to.
Well, we're not.
Well, we're close. Close counts in
No.
horseshoes and hand grenades, but
And podcasts.
yeah,
And podcast.
But not
Hey,
football.
close does count because what happened to Terrell Owens? He's on, he played for two of the teams that are representing this podcast. Somebody hit him with a car yesterday or the day before, and he didn't even need medical attention. So, close does count. No, you cocked your head. You not know about that, Randy?
Well, no, I'm just trying to figure out how that has to do with close counts. That's all.
Well, you said close doesn't count. It does. It does. If someone hits you.
But it wasn't that he was close to getting hit. He got hit. I don't see how that
He actually got hit.
I don't see how that ties in.
He didn't get hurt, I guess.
Well, I don't know. Maybe it's a segue into my next comment that I'm hoping something similar happens in your current position there, sir. So I'll get back to the Eagles game. The Eagles, I mean, it had to come at some point, and like similar to last year against us, it came against a team you weren't expecting it to come against. So they looked. I wouldn't even say mediocre, to be honest. I can't say, just because I have Jalen Hurts in fantasy, had him in a gambling pool as well, and he came out as, based on the stats, actually the number one quarterback of the week. So I can't put it totally on him, but my Georgia, the Georgia baby Bulldogs didn't really play like Bulldogs as much as they normally were, but it was something that needed to happen. I'm completely fine the way it happened. Make whatever's going to make Zach Wilson relevant, because somebody on here said that Zach Wilson isn't a terrible quarterback. I can't remember who it was, but they were wrong. Yeah, of course, you were wrong. He is an absolute terrible quarterback. When he's got MILFs in the stands, he just balls out. So that's all for him. But I think that I don't normally like to do this, but I will go ahead, and I actually kind of want to pass this to Randy to actually hear his take this week. I understand his take is going to be real hard on the Eagles, but you lost one. So you can't say but so much. You're 4-2, deserve to be 3-3, and your team sucks. And your quarterback is ass.
Paul, let's quit defending the Eagles, okay? You got your own team to defend. Now listen, Mike, give me a little help here. Which of these guys predicted this Cowboys game correctly?
Not me.
Randy, I'm looking at my list here. I think it might have been just you.
Okay, and who predicted the Eagles game correctly?
Also the one that we refer to sometimes as Nostradamus, you.
And who predicted the Giants game correctly if Tyrod Taylor played?
Both you and Paul, actually, on that one. I got to give Paul some love there.
And who predicted the Washington game correctly?
I believe maybe Randy. You got everything right.
Hold on. Do you say Greg didn't predict anything right there?
Ofer. Yep.
And Topher didn't predict everything correctly?
Well, let's see here. You went 4-0 on your picks. I also have here that you had a very good line on Herbert and Allen not going off in your game, and they were under. They didn't get shut out completely, but they were both under their, what would normally be for them. The two things you did get wrong, Paul already pointed one out. Wilson was a bad analysis, and the one that I'm really looking at is the one thing that's not looking accurate on what you said last week, and I think Greg will like this. I'm going to quote again here if I can find it. You said about the Eagles, it'll be a matter of time before every team in the league is doing the tush push and the Eagles will lose their edge. Well, that has not proven to be correct. These other teams trying to do the tush push are failing.
It's been 1 week, Mike. It's been 1 week. Give it time. Give it time. No, I just again, I'm trying to be very humble with this, but I feel like I correctly picked every game again.
4 for 4.
Again, everybody. It seems like when you guys all say the Cowboys are going to lose, they freaking win. It just seems like every time there's hatred, it's a win for me. It also seems like when I lose every game, and when I win every one. But I got a couple pointers on a couple of games. One is, Paul, you guys played Atlanta. You're a 500 team because you played Atlanta. I called that. They're a bottom of the barrel team that sometimes plays a little bit up to competition. I still don't think that makes Washington a 500 worthy team, but whatever. We'll leave it at that. Topher, I've got to say, watching your Giants, and Steve brought this up to me earlier, but the way your coach tore apart the best acting quarterback that he's had all year, when that guy made a bad decision on a play call that coach called, the way he tore Tyrod Taylor up, like
that was all on him, man. If we win the game, if they just kick the field goal there,
well, we may have, but the coach called the play.
would have.
And Tyrod did what
He
he
did not
thought
call
was
the
the best.
play.
The coach called the play. It was an option play. Tyrod chose to pan it off to the running
Audibled
back.
into a run with 14 seconds and no timeouts.
Tyrod made a bad call, but
Stupid.
for a quarterback that almost beat you against one of the most elite teams in the NFL, for your coach to act the way he acted,
we
and
would have won
scream
that
and
game if
holler,
Daniel Jones played.
It looked like
We would have won that game
It
if
looked
Daniel
like a
Jones
coach
played.
who's scared for his job that was trying to say, "Oh
He was
my
pissed.
gosh, it wasn't my fault. It's not my fault we're in this position." But a backup quarterback
It was a
made that
run
offensive
or
made that
throw
offense
option.
made that offense look at least exciting to watch for the first time this year.
And it was for him to keep it if he thought he could keep it.
And it was nice to see
It
a
was a
Giants
run throw
quarterback.
option.
It was nice to see a Giants quarterback that didn't lay on the turf every time someone got within 10 yards.
Yeah, the line,
10 yards
mean,
in.
believe it or not, it played better. Justin Pugh played better. It worked.
And I'm just saying, it was.
They do work every week and
I'm
try to
just
get
curious.
better.
So right now, again, I feel like I'm the only Giants fan here. Right now, should Tyrod Taylor start next week? Because
he probably will.
As a Giants, as the
100%.
only true Giants fan on the podcast, I want a winning quarterback for that team. So I'm just wondering, when are you gonna jump the bandwagon and finally say?
No, we win that game with Daniel Jones. We win that game with a healthy Daniel Jones.
Look at what.
So you're forgetting.
Jones.
Not only is the line actually played a little better, just like our defense played better. Like it plays better each week. It was in the Niners game. It's in the Miami game. It was in this game. We win that game. Plus, Daniel Jones's numbers do go up when Saquon Barkley plays. Tyrod Taylor had 200 yards. Daniel Jones gets anywhere from like 130 to 200 yards each week.
So
not the week we beat Arizona when he had 320.
Greg, to jump on your squeaker Eagles, the Eagles that have squeaked through 5 games and finally they paid for it. Who'd have seen that coming? But all I'm saying, next week you play Miami, and this loss will do one of two things. It's either going to get your heads out of your butts and you're actually going to play football for a full 4 quarters, or it's the start of. I had a friend of mine, an Eagles fan, say today, he's starting to feel the Wentz effect. The effect that Wentz is starting to lose timing, Wentz/Hurts, and he's a big Eagles fan with his receivers. And that Wentz Hurts is the guy who's going to start going downhill from here. I don't know which way it's going to go, but I do know that I told you this was coming. This was coming because they were squeaking out way too many games. And they're going to, now that you got your first loss against a team you shouldn't have lost against. Now the gauntlet's coming up. Are you going to be 8-8 this year?
So far?
Are you going to be 8-8 this year?
They're also,
I'm sorry,
they're also
9-8.
They're scared because they had to go out and get a 30-time Pro Bowler in the timeless treasure Julio Jones today.
Yeah. Thanks for ruining my thunder, Paul.
Yeah.
Jeez.
That was going to make about as much noise as a fart.
Just a couple more things, Greg. Just a couple more things. And the one thing I just can't get over the fact is that, again, here we go. This time of year, the Cowboys are going into a bye. Guess what's starting to bite the Eagles like it did a couple of years ago? injuries. Lane Johnson getting hurt.
Oh.
I cannot imagine that Eagles team has been blessed with good health this year. You guys are starting to get the injury bug. I
That's with
don't
only losing
see.
one lineman.
I don't see an off.
One guy.
Stop about your line, Chris. I don't
One
see
guy.
a lot going on right now. I can't see you
Let
guys
him make his point, Chris.
continuing to squeak out these wins. And oh, by the way, one more thing. Fly, Eagles, fly, Greg. Fly, Eagles, fly.
Well, it's funny you say that because it's like I look at the standings and it shows the Eagles are 5-1 and Dallas is 4-2. Just pointing that out. I also see that we have you in 2 weeks, so we'll see what happens in 2 weeks. But to answer your question, no, this is nothing to do with a Wentz effect. In my mind, it was nothing but pure arrogance. If you want to know the truth and how I really feel, I think Nick Sirianni and the O coordinator and Hurts were like, "Oh, Sauce Gardner out. Oh, you're bringing up 3 practice squad cornerbacks. We're going to throw the ball all over you." And forget the fact that the Jets are the 28th ranked rushing defense in the league, and forget the fact that we are a rushing team. And the rush sets up the play action, which sets up the pass. It's like I am a 45-year-old dude that played low level college football. Everybody knows that. And that's what just pisses me off more than anything right now.
Greg,
I'm fired up.
Why does that happen? I am curious. What makes you? Why do that?
Listen,
it is
as
common
long
sense.
as I've watched the Eagles, which hasn't been forever, but they have historically. It doesn't matter what coach they have. I think it's partly
since you've seen Romo and them tight pants.
I think it's partly fans' fault. You guys run the ball effectively, but you never stick with it. It doesn't matter how good it's going. You guys want to be a high-flying offense, and you guys don't have that quarterback.
Our owner, what do you mean we don't have the quarterback? Last year and 2 years ago, he was. What are you talking about?
You don't have a quarterback that's going to be a Tom Brady and not run around and make plays with his feet. You don't have the quarterback that's just a passing quarterback.
Did you not watch last year where he was runner-up for the MVP and actually played better than Mahomes in the Super Bowl?
The stats you keep giving out show his rushing yards. That is a quarterback that needs to use his legs to make plays, not just his pocket passer.
Well, I mean, he is a rushing quarterback, but he also has a good ball and throws the ball very well.
He's a dual threat. He does
a dual threat.
My point is, though, you need to establish a run game, and the Eagles consistently,
I
year
agree
after
with that.
year, never do it.
We have an owner and we have a general manager that insists on throwing.
Fan base.
Oh, yeah, right. Crappy fan base. Get out of here.
I was just trying to say, I'm just throwing this in since you yelled at me about the line. I wasn't even talking about mine. I was just trying to say, like, he's used to having like a
you
perfect
guys are
situation.
being mean to me.
And we have our whole
he
right
lost
side of
one
our line
guy, and it just
we didn't lose
messed
one
everything.
guy.
I mean,
we lost our whole right
huge.
side.
Yeah, but come on.
Yeah.
Greg, we're gonna have an offensive line contest here or what?
No, we're not.
I just think it's crazy how he faces a little adversity and then he looks like Dak Prescott. Like,
he looked like Dak Prescott last night.
I want to hear the rest of your takes for this week.
What's that?
I want to hear the rest of your takes for this week.
So, I mean, I think it was hard. I'm pissed. I'm still pissed off. We rushed the ball for under 15 times. He dropped back the pass 54 times. 54. There is no goddamn reason to do that against a team that's 28th in the league in rushing.
Was it 54? I thought it was 45. It was 54?
He has 45 pass attempts, but he dropped back to throw the ball 54 times, and 10 of them were rushes or sacks. Like I'm still pissed off. Phillies won. I couldn't even enjoy the Phillies win last night because I'm still pissed, and I'm probably going to be pissed tomorrow too. It's frustrating. It's very frustrating.
And you're going to be really pissed on Sunday.
Nick Sirianni's coming out to the school in a couple weeks, and I'm going to tell him, run the damn ball. Like, I get so frustrated, and it's something that we've been yelling for years and years and years. And last year we started doing it, and we did well. 17, same thing happened. Wentz got hurt. We started running the ball, and we did well. We got to the Super Bowl. So it's frustrating. You know, like I mentioned, we missed Lane got injured. We're missing our right guard as well. So we have Driscoll coming in, and we're out. Reed Blankenship, our safety, got hurt again. Carter didn't play. One of the baby Bulldogs, that's probably why you didn't hear about him. He didn't even play. So it's like we have injuries, and what does our general manager do? Oh, let's sign an 85-year-old wide receiver. Like, that's not what we need. We're getting ready to go against the track meet, the Olympic sprint team down in Miami, and it's like, oh well, let's get a receiver. No, we need cornerbacks. We need people that can cover them, and we'll go into that the next segment. But like, Randy hit the nail on the head, and I hate agreeing with Randy, but we're either going to have a close game and possibly sneak out a win, or the fan base is going to be deflated. Now, I will say that I did say week 1 and all the pilot episodes that we're going to be anywhere from 6-2 to 8-0 in the first 8 games, and it looks like that's going to happen. And after that, I'm not sure what team we have. You can read all the power rankings you want and all that crap. They still have us considered a top 5 team. I'm going to say something that I hate to say, but Detroit possibly could. Everything could go through Detroit. Detroit has a cake schedule the rest of the season, and they're looking good. They're 5-1 right now, and they are not a bad team. Dallas is not a bad team. 49ers are not a bad team. There's a lot of NFC teams that are just okay. You ask me, I think the Jets destroy the Cardinals on any Sunday. Does that make our loss worse than Dallas's loss? No, it doesn't. A loss is a loss. I didn't watch much of the Giants game. I got to be honest with you. I was pissed. I was playing cards and losing money, and I got even more angry. So I can't even give you my analysis on the Giants game. I know they held it close. I know there was a couple of calls here and there. Honestly, the Dallas game, I watched the first half of that, and I think that they could have lost that game just as easily as they won the game. But again, a win is a win in the NFL, and that's what we're here to stack them up right now to get ready for the playoffs. So, Chris, please give me your insight.
Just one quick thing, Greg. Sorry,
Yeah.
Chris. You said you're going to tell Sirianni to run the ball when he comes to your high school.
Yeah, he's coming the 25th of October.
One little problem you have is you didn't spend any money on any quality running backs, so that's going to get old.
Oh no,
Go ahead, Chris.
Swift was just top 5 in the league the first weeks of the season.
Chris, go ahead.
Look, I'm 1-5. I'm not going to waste a whole lot of time. You guys have your opinion. It's always based off of DJ. He sucks.
Oh, I guess we're done then.
So to back that up,
line time.
No, not at all. I'm very confident in Joe Shane and Dable. Like, I disagree with you on that. Tyrod Taylor is a veteran. He's probably the best backup quarterback in the NFL. I mean, we pay him decent money. He's a good backup quarterback. That's what he is. He's running the same exact offense because of our line. It stinks. Played a little better. Barkley was there. I know that attributed to that. They worried about Barkley a little bit. They thought we were going to go heavy run. Hey, Barkley played well. I don't think he's 100%.
He had 12 yards in his first 12 carries. 12 yards.
I mean, just being out there, it draws attention enough that they worried about Saquon Barkley.
And the teams that have the best backup quarterbacks have the crappiest starting quarterbacks.
So my thing on that is they wouldn't have paid him $160 million if they thought Tyrod Taylor was better. And these guys forgot more about football than you guys even will know. So, like, they've been doing it so long. They wouldn't have paid the dude $160 million if he was a bum. They would have kept Tyrod Taylor. He would have been a bridge. We would have missed the playoffs and drafted a quarterback this year, just like you guys think.
I did hear there was an out clause at the end of this year. Is that true?
Not this year. I think after the second year, possibly.
Second year? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, and like you always say, well, we ain't paying Sam Howell that. Like, if Sam Howell keeps doing what he's doing and they keep playing the way they're playing, like just being a decent football team, they're going to need a quarterback. They'll keep him, and you're going to have to pay him probably that much money to keep him when his time comes. That's just the way it's going to be. Like, they're paying DJ mid money. But anyway, the line's the same. It's very vanilla. He hit throws that DJ threw in games. You guys don't watch every New York Giants football game. It looks exactly the same. You couldn't score points. Terrible decision at the end of the half. Like, it was, I don't know why they just didn't kick the field goal. It would have been up 12-0. I don't understand that. The end of the game, it was pass interference, Mike. Like the play before got us on the 1 yard line, and the very next play he grabbed him. He grabbed him like 3 times. He
They
should
were
have had
both
another
grabbing
shot.
each other. They were all over
Yeah.
each other.
Dude, I got
Yeah.
I got still shots.
Oh,
No, I
here we
do.
go.
I can text it
He
to
was
you.
there. He got him. So
I'm actually
Chris,
going
so it sounds to me
I
like
still want to keep rolling with the one Greg wants my take. My take is defense is playing a little better. It's bound to happen. They've been consistently together now for 6 weeks. There was a lot of new there. Wink's system is very difficult. Defense is playing good. It did decent in San Francisco. It kept us in games. If we would have been healthy this year, 4-2, 3-3 right now. That's where I think we would be with a healthy New York Giants football team. And this week coming up, I think we win this game. I think we win this game with Tyrod Taylor playing. Like, our defense played well. I'm not worried about Sam Howell. What do you have? 151 yards last week. Decent in the red zone. They rely on the run. I'm not worried about that. We'll beat them with Tyrod Taylor.
Chris, you called last week's game to a T. You said that the Giants would not put up points if Tyrod played. But you said the defense was better than everybody thought they would, and that even though they wouldn't win, they would cover. And that was a low-scoring game, very close game.
As much as you
couldn't
guys
have
like
been
to
more
rag
right.
on me, I call my team the way it is. It's what it is, and I'm telling you why we
didn't
stink.
do that the first week.
Yeah, the first 4 weeks you were wrong every week.
And I told you why. Andrew Thomas got hurt on the first drive.
Oh, here it comes. Here it comes. Go down the list of them.
The season.
All the linemen.
And one of my buddies, the podcast I listen to a lot, my buddy Bobby Skinner, I'll give him this. He said it. He said it before the season started. New York Giants lose Andrew Thomas. They cannot run their offense. That's why the offense is basically the same. Tyrod Taylor had just under 200 yards. He didn't score. Boneheaded play, cost us the game, in my opinion. But it is what it is. And on to Washington. The games, I thought Dak played really well. I thought he bounced back nice. What do you have? 272, a touchdown, and a really nice run. What was that, like a 28 yard run for a TD? I think he had a little over 40 yards. Played really well. The Cowboys, I mean, they're good. Brandon Cooks, he's getting involved a little bit. I thought in the beginning of the year that was a very underrated pickup. Like, he brings something to your team that you needed. Get him involved. Maybe he's finally catching on. They'll get him involved. I thought they looked good. I don't think they're going to the Super Bowl. I don't think they're just powerhouse that you like to think they are. I'm not saying you come across that they can win it all. They're better than Philly. I don't know. I don't think they're that team. I don't know what's going to happen in 2 weeks. You play them in 2 weeks, the Eagles?
Yeah.
That's going to be fun.
So
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
The Eagles, I was just going to move on to them. And yeah, it hurts. Like, it just blows my mind that, like, they weren't running the football. Me and Steven were watching this game, and I think we both were saying that. And then hurts, though. Like, it does. I bring up the line because, like, it just seems like he's a little adversity. It just messes him up, gets him off the spot. That's what I'm saying. Like, he's good. I don't think he's Mahomes and them guys. He's not MVP. He's a good quarterback in a great situation. Like, it's kind of like, I think McNabb and T.O. were better than Hurts and Brown. I mean, go back and look at them stats.
Yeah, kind of like Carson Wentz.
Do you think Donovan McNabb, in your head right now as an Eagles fan, do you think Hurts is better or McNabb's better?
Well, I think Hurts, I mean, just putting it out there, Hurts has only done it for 2 years, where McNabb
really
did it
1.5.
Yeah, and
last
McNabb
year
did
and
it
this
for so
year.
long. But let me ask you a question. Getting back to that, like, just I'm curious to see what you guys as football fans think about this. So, we have the ball right around midfield. We just come out of the 2-minute warning. It's third down, 3rd and 9, right around midfield. Like, the other team Zach Wilson has no timeouts. What do you do there? Do you, like, in my opinion, you run the ball and you waste 50 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And then you take the penalty and then you kick the ball at 4th down. And that's what blows my mind. No, he either calls an audible or I don't know what he did, and he drops back and throws the interception, and then they return it. Like, and that's what just really frustrated me. Like, you run the ball, you give Zach Wilson a minute to drive the field to score a touchdown to beat you. Like, to me, it's a no-brainer. Mm-hmm. But, like, I just that blew my mind that was the decision. We did the same thing in Washington. we threw a touchdown pass, but we gave Hal a minute, whatever, and then that's when we went to overtime. It's like decisions like that I just don't get. And maybe I'm missing something. I don't know.
All right.
Just a little one. I didn't get to talk really about the Cowboys game itself. I just wanted to say a quick comment. I think, weirdly enough, that was my most impressive opinion of Dak Prescott all year. I struggled with him in all of the wins we've gotten. I felt like it was flying high off of defensive awesomeness, really. And he really wasn't impressive. This was the first game that I saw him clawing and fighting and dragging that team to, although it wasn't an impressive win, a win. That was something I've been waiting to see from him all year. I've slightly changed my tone from last week where I was down on Dak because I haven't seen that in him all year until this week. That kind of play he did, I believe, is the play the Cowboys need to improve their offense to elite again. I don't know if the best, but I think it's going to be a much better offense if Dak can play like that. I know it was not an impressive win. There was a lot of missed opportunities, but the first couple of drives, he looked so shaky. And it seemed like that run you were talking about, Chris, that run just seemed to build confidence. And after that, there seemed to be a bit of a switch, and it seemed like he wasn't scared to get hit. It seemed like he wasn't, they call him a slippery salmon, whatever you want to call him. It seemed like
I noticed over his career, whenever he gets a run like that, it always fires him up. Like he's been doing that for years.
Well,
I actually like that about him.
I think no matter what any of your quarterbacks do, this goes for Dak and all four of your quarterbacks with this crew here on Clashing Conferences podcast. Doesn't matter how impressive they are from week to week, the other three guys are going to say your quarterback sucks. So I'm looking forward to it for another 8, 9, 10 weeks, however much longer we have left of this. Let's take a quick break, though. We'll get back here shortly and start looking forward to week 7. All right, we are back, Clashing Conferences podcast part 2, and looking forward to week 7. This week we have Dallas is going to be off this week, so instead of a third Dallas prediction, which we don't have, we're going to do predictions for the Detroit and Baltimore game, Ravens game, as our third game to predict here. We also have Washington going to New York to play the Giants. And we got the Eagles in a big home game this week against the Dolphins. So let's get our wheel up here, get 3 new categories for our internal competition for the week. Let's see what we come up with here. First category is going to be team win.
All right, I'm getting one. I'm getting one.
I knew there was. See, there it is. I told you to leave your dumb stuff for when the wheel's going on, not afterwards.
That's you right now.
I'll take Detroit in this one.
No, you'll take no win.
There it is.
Yeah.
Randy, I'm sorry. Hey, everybody's going to have a bye week, so it's fair. You guys are all going to have a week where you don't get a chance to score a point. Quarterback rating.
Oh, there's 2.
Chris?
Another one that the Giants won't be eligible for.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I know Sam Howell won't.
It's the bye week for the Giants this week, too, it looks like.
So, look, Randy can't get a point there either. We're going to catch up, fellas.
Yeah, you guys are going to catch up a little bit this week, but last category for the week is going to be most points total offense. So we definitely have an offensive-looking week here for the Giants, the Redskins, and the Eagles. So let's.
Randy can't score a point.
Chris, go ahead. Why don't you kick it off, Chris? Let's start with the 2 guys with the divisional matchup. Let's go, Chris, and then Paul here.
I was just saying, I'm glad that Randy can't score a point. That's nice.
Still might tie the Giants.
Yeah,
you still might get the same amount.
I think we might get some points this week. I think we can hold Sam Howell. I mean, we did a good job against our defense is getting better a little each week. We're going against Sam Howell. It's not Josh Allen. They didn't get any points till the 4th quarter. Like, what would Howell do? 151 yards, 3 rushing yards. I think we're going to beat up on him. His QB rating, we're not worrying about him.
They gave up a lot of sacks.
Most points, yeah. Yeah,
Should
most not worrying about him with or without
be.
Daniel Jones. We win that game with Daniel Jones, man. I'm telling you. Most points. We're not going to score the most points. Most points this week. Man, I don't know. We might score the most points. I think we're going to win we're going to win the game, and I think the Eagles aren't going to do very well against Miami. Giants might get 2 points there, and then the team win. I might sweep the week. That's my predictions, Mike. I might sweep the
I
week.
like it. I like it.
I think they need to
That's a good
flex.
comeback for the New York Giants.
They need to flex your game until Sunday morning at 7:30. That's when they need to flex this game till.
It's a 1:00 game. I'm going to the game. It's a 1:00 game. I'm taking my daughter. She never loses. She's undefeated at every game I've taken to her. And guess what, Paul? Every time I take her, it's the Washington Redskins. So I'm gonna check her off for another one. And her name's Clover, so she's my good luck charm. So the Giants, I think, well, I'm gonna sweep the week. But Greg, I think you're gonna go down. I don't what's the spread here? Eagles are -2.5.
So close to even on a neutral field, buddy.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Lane Johnson going to play? I don't know. Is he playing this week? It's too early. That's one thing. It sucks about recording on Tuesday night because it's a little early. I don't even know who my quarterback's going to be. It ain't going to matter against Washington.
Don't matter.
Well, it does because Daniel Jones is 5-1-1 against you. So I would be feeling really good about it if Daniel Jones played. I don't know what's going to happen with Daniel Jones. I'm kind of hoping Andrew Thomas plays. That would be a big help, and then we're definitely going to win the game. But Eagles, I think the Eagles are going to lose, and I think I'd say by 10. I think Miami beat you by 10. This is going to be a tough one for you. Randy's been saying it. Your schedule's getting tough. Just lost to the Jets. That is by far the best defense you win against this year. So that's my pick against the spreads. And that's my prediction for the points.
Chris, Detroit, Baltimore yet?
Who's going to
Detroit,
win?
Baltimore. I'm gonna go with the Lions. I'm gonna go with the Lions.
What's the spread on that?
Looks like it's +3 over and under.
Yeah, 3. Baltimore -3.
42.5.
Baltimore's -3.
It's at Baltimore.
Really?
By the way, Baltimore's 4-2.
It's even. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Lions.
I love that Chris has become our Vegas Lines guy.
Dude, I feel like I don't do anything in this part, and like my team's not doing anything. I have to get involved. I look forward to doing this with you guys.
Paul, you want to retort here?
I mean, normally we wait till the end to start getting into some of that dumb stuff, but that 5-minute span was just about all of it that we should all have to take. That was the dumbest dumb stuff I ever seen in my life.
He's gonna be calling me Nostradamus.
So
next week.
yeah, and I really hope that we win, and I do it, and
you should.
Well, I hope we win not just because it's a W, but just so we don't have to deal with it next week. That's so much worse than the actual loss. I would rather lose again to the Bears than lose to the Giants this week. I think it'll be a competitive. I know it'll be a competitive game. It's very possible that it's not going to be that great of a game. There is not a lot of star power anywhere. I understand and I appreciate you got your NIL money for saying Daniel Jones and Andrew Thomas's name 7 times each. But
do I get anything
really
from Barkley?
Yeah,
and that's a star power. That's some star power. Darren Waller.
No,
and Banks is playing really well, and so and McLaurin, I think we're all right, man. It's a good matchup. I
appreciate
for us.
That. I got
good
you.
matchup for us.
Go ahead and stay in your lane there, buddy, because I think everyone
with our backup quarterback
is. I hope it starts raining at that game and those nosebleeds.
It might actually be better than your quarterback.
But no, I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be an even game. I think it's going to be a crapshoot. I don't think Daniel Jones is going to be a factor, not if he plays or isn't. If he plays, he's not going to be a factor. If he doesn't play, same story. So I actually am hoping that Tyrod Taylor doesn't start. That's my take. I think Randy probably would agree with me that we would be in a worse spot if Tyrod Taylor plays. Like the game last week against Desmond Ridder, he became a little slippery there towards the end, and I don't need that from Tyrod Taylor. But I know that if Daniel Jones gets in the open field on a nice run, the turf monster's going to catch him again like they always do.
Boo.
But
Once.
yeah, that's all it takes is one. I mean,
and he's tough, Randy. Like he's a tough son of a bitch, just like Eli was, man. He's a tough kid, man.
No, he's
Takes
not
a lot
tough.
more than
like,
a boo to knock him down. He does have a bad neck injury. I'm worried about it.
I was going to
It
say,
sucks.
Isn't he injured?
It's man, they're saying if it's the same thing from 2021. I mean, back then they were talking about it could have been career ending. Like it's bad. But I don't know. I'm getting mixed things. It's only Tuesday. I have no idea. No idea.
All I'm saying is I hope they bring out the DeMar Hamlin tagged ambulance on the field for him if he does play. They need to bring that down to Washington. So I'm looking forward to that. But as far as the other game, I'm just looking forward to watching that game. Because I was really hyped for the Bills and the Dolphins before, and that did not work out the way I thought it would. The Bills are really a pretty superior team. They had a lapse last week, but I think that's going to be a high scoring game. I hope it's a high scoring game, and I think it's going to be a great game. I do think that Miami's going to pull it out, though. I really think that the Eagles' defense is just getting worse, and I'm not saying they're playing worse. Is that you're just like you've had to say next guy up. You can only say next guy up, but so many times before the next guy up is literally the water boy, and you're just. I mean, these are the things. This is how Tom Brady was born. So I mean, maybe you'll find a dime in the rough, but it's gonna be rough because we're not even halfway through the season, and half of your defense has already missed at least one game. So I think it's going to be tough. I think that's really going to be tough. What was the line that we set on that? Two. You got a line of 2. Well,
2.5.
Yeah. So I think the Dolphins are going to win. So that kind of takes care of that. But the Lions, I'm never going to say anything nice about the Ravens because Mike and I have too many people that we know in Baltimore, and that group is 1B to how annoying Dallas Cowboys fans are. So I definitely think that I definitely think that Ravens are definitely vulnerable. No one is happy to play for their coach. It's literally the opposite of the Giants. Like no group of players wants to play for their coach more than the Lions. No one wants to play for Daboll less than the Giants players. You've got their star players. Your star players are taking
You're
extra weeks.
wrong about him. What'd you say 1 week? You said
your star players are taking extra weeks off just so they don't take unnecessary hits because of their coaching. It's
and
unbelievable.
Benched hurts for Tua.
So
if only they had $40 million to spend on an offensive line, it'd be great.
Yeah, the only thing that I think that saves the Ravens is that David Montgomery, little demo out there, got hurt last week. And Jahmyr Gibbs, who they thought was a savior. I don't know. It's like something the Giants would do. Draft somebody in the top 12 and then just put him on the bench. But I think it's going to actually be a pretty close game because it's in Baltimore. But I still think the Lions take it since Baltimore is favored. I think the Lions win that line as well. But I could care less who's talking next as long as it's not freaking Chris.
Yeah. Let's go to Greg. Reminder though, real quick:
right.
Bears 40, Washington 20. Thanks.
Wow.
I hope they paste it all over. Sell it rent a billboard for a week. Let's give us some motivation. Why don't we have one of our veteran players die this week? Something like that. Can we get some motivation?
Ooh.
Man, you always say the right thing at the right time, don't you? Classic.
Gotta beat the Giants. Don't care what happens.
Just looking at the games.
Better hope.
Looking at the games, Chris, this may be a bad omen for you. I am 0 for my last several bets and 0 for my last gambling bets from Atlantic City. And
with Dak Prescott, turn it around this week.
How about picks for last week, Greg? What were you for picks for last week?
I didn't make any good ones. That's what I'm saying. I'm
okay.
I'm over.
You guys remember when Greg told us he didn't gamble in week 1, and now every week he's talking about his bets that he lost. And
listen, we were in Atlantic City. It was fun down there. We had a good time, and I did not do very well. But hey, I call it my charitable donation every year. poetic justice, Chris. I was watching the game, the same place where I watched the Eagles beat the Giants at the playoffs last year. So maybe it was poetic justice that we got beat there. I'm leaning towards the Giants this week.
Did they
I
play
think
Hurts so good?
Yeah, we played that twice and then didn't play it the rest of the game. I'm going to take the Giants over the Redskins this week. Kind of looking at the other game, Detroit at Baltimore. I'm going to take the Ravens.
Greg, it don't matter what quarterback plays, right?
It does matter what quarterback. What do you mean?
I'm talking about for my game.
Oh, for your game, no. Does not
Right.
matter. I'm taking the Giants either way.
Thanks,
and then for
Greg.
our game, I think our game is going to be high scoring. I really do. I hope so. And I hope it's competitive. We have a lot of holes on defense, a lot of holes on offense. Lane Johnson came back, I believe, and I think we talked about this earlier. It's just a sprain, grade 1 sprain. So he's questionable for Monday or Sunday. We do not win without him, my opinion. I think
How come he's allowed to say it?
What?
You lose one lineman
because he only said it
whole
once.
right side.
He said it. Jesus.
We lost our whole lineman, everybody.
We lost our right side, so I'm allowed to say that.
We lost everybody but the worst one. Somehow Neil doesn't get hurt. He's the worst one on our line.
Listen,
he's
the best one.
Your boy is straight off the couch. You can't send him to the practice squad. You gotta keep him up.
Oh, he's playing. He'll play He'll play guard, dude. That was great. Right off the couch.
I want to see you get that shirt straight off the couch.
Yeah, I'll get it. I'll get one.
I think they win. I think the Eagles win in a close one. I do. I think we stun the world, and I think we win in a close one. And I think we actually control the ball, and we run, and we control the clock, and we keep Miami off the field. Is how I think it happens. I think Tua has a bad game. I think we get to him, and I think that's what happens. It's just what I think. I don't have any scientific proof to back this one up, guys. I'm sorry. Looking at the stats, team win. I think the Giants are going to get a win, and the Eagles quarterback rating. I think it's either going to be Hurts
by default.
If we win by default,
or Jared Goff.
Yeah, you forgot about Jared Goff.
Oh man!
Wait a minute.
Where you can use that?
I don't think. They're not part of our internal points.
Oh wow!
It's just
so
for
we gotta have 3 garbage quarterbacks making up points.
The quarterback rating highest maybe 43, but someone's got to win, right?
That's right.
And then most points, I'm going to take the Eagles because I think that we're going to have to score 30-some points to be competitive in this game.
That's why I switched, because I was thinking you were going to lose. I was going to say you, but I'm like, well, wait a minute. But yeah,
I think that's our only chance. I think that we kind of do what the Giants did and kind of try to slow the game down and play good defense. The problem is our corners do not like man-to-man coverage, and they are fast receivers down there. So we are in a huge matchup problem. Bradbury hates playing man press. Slay was out last week, so who knows if he's going to be back. I think he'll be back this week, and I think Blankenship's not going to be back, though. I think he broke some ribs, so I think we're in trouble. But I think we can pull it off.
You better hope they don't rush back Slay, though, because he could get just absolutely toasted if he's not 100%.
Yeah. And I don't know what – I mean, I don't know if we're going to try to play man or try to play some sort of cover 2, cover 4. I don't know. I mean, that's what the Jets did to us, so maybe that's what we do to the Dolphins. I don't know. We bring 8 in the box and then disguise it and bring everyone back in coverage. But, I mean, you got to have the linebackers that are athletic enough to do that, and we just don't have it. Sorry, Randy. I'm sorry that
this is like, besides Topher's week 1 talking about his offensive line, this has been the most boring observation of a football game this whole podcast.
I want to add on one thing about the Eagles. We're
talking about next week. We're not
I want to add one thing on about the Eagles, Greg, and I'm not trying to pile it on, but didn't you go against their backup corners this week as well?
Yeah, practice squad. That's what I'm saying. To me, it was arrogance.
Is that why they were trying to throw the ball?
Yeah.
I better hope that's what it was.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
if it was skill, that's...
Because you're going to have to throw the ball this week.
We are, but we're also going to have to run the ball to establish the pass. Paul, tell him, how do you do it, Paul?
Nobody's going to respect the pass game if you don't get the run game going first.
And if you don't spend any money on running backs, you can't run the ball.
That's why we would have won with Daniel Jones last week, because we would have ran the ball. They would have worried about Saquon. Daniel Jones is good in play action. It's
How are we
sucks,
talking about
man.
the Giants still?
Because I'm going to be talking a lot next week.
Listen, that's next week.
I get one.
All right.
And then probably two the next time we play them.
We'll see. All right, Cleveland man, what do you got sitting in your car in Cleveland?
Hey, so Washington Giants. I love this matchup because I feel like Washington, catch this is crazy. Washington was close to beating the Eagles and being 4-2. If it wasn't for an angry Bears team, they'd be 5-1 right now. And I think they're going to annihilate the Giants. I am done believing in your Giants.
Right down, Mike.
Your boy, if your boy plays DJ, the Redskins are going to wipe the floor with him. I believe. As far as the Eagles and the
bounce back game.
You never know. As far as the thing that worries
me,
you
bounce around a lot. I can tell you that the Giants bounce around a lot.
He's gonna have a back week. He's gonna bounce back.
The Eagles and Miami, I am a little bit worried because Miami's coming off a big win. Eagles are coming off of a loss. I feel like that does affect gameplay, but the Eagles, I do believe, are getting worse and worse every week. I do believe that they are going to continue to be the team that comes in over cocky and over arrogant. Yes, they see the threat with Miami. I think they're going to come out with their A game, but I don't believe they can score with that team. The only thing, and I hate saying this, I do believe their coach is a good coach, which is going to keep the game somewhat tight, but I think Miami's going to have a ton of yards against them. I think Miami's going to run up and down that field very well. I think that the Eagles are going to make some very, very good calls, but I think Miami beats them. My Detroit Lions, well, they're not mine, but I do feel like they're going to own Baltimore. Baltimore looks horrific, in my opinion, right now. The way they played the Steelers 2 weeks ago, they're just not putting up a lot of points. I think that Detroit is going to score a lot of them. I think that's going to be a fairly solid game for Detroit. My predictions, as far as the other three, I don't care. I'm not in it. You guys are going to somehow slowly start to catch up to me because I can't even play. But all that being said,
you act like every team is not going to get a bye at some point. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's a rule that you have to have a bye.
Well, sure. I guess, you could say that's true. But I still feel like it sucks that I got to have the first one. We'll put it that way.
It's going to be fair for all, but I think the bye week came at the right time for the other three teams needing a chance to catch up to you, Randy. You're crushing in the internal competition right now.
It's going to keep the podcast interesting.
Because of
your dumb shit will do that.
Especially when I get my 3
actually, you're only up 3 on Greg now. It's not as much as I thought after I look back at it.
Me?
Yeah, you got 9. Greg got 6
this week, and he's probably going to get a free point or 2 next week, which is very frustrating, but is what it is. Hey, any interest in Trey Lance yet, there, Chris?
No, man, I'm good. You can give him to Washington if you want. I mean, like we said, it doesn't matter what quarterback plays; they're both better than Sam Howell.
All right.
Sure.
Very confident in that.
Excellent way to end it.
Yeah. I think so. I was actually waiting after he said Trey Lance for the usual send-off line.
I mean, it's there you go with that dumb shit.
Just wanted to get one more dig in.
Yeah, we started off
and we're gonna say it this week.
I started off with it. We're going to end with it. Apparently,
I think we will.
Stuff coming from you.
It was a heck of a good episode, though, guys. We're looking forward to week 7. Looking forward to a really good internal NFC East matchup, and we'll be back in a week to see how things turned out.
Sounds good.
All
right.
Have a
good week, fellas.
See you guys.
See you from Cleveland, fellas.
Sam Howell sucks.
No, Danny Jones sucks.
I'm going to tune in straight up from India next week just to talk to you.